Hey guys, it's Miss Carmen here for another video. Today we're going to be talking about some bears, and we're going to be reading a book called More Bears, and the author is Ken Nesbitt, and the illustrator is Troy Cummings. So let's get started. Once upon a time, there was a story. This story was a lovely story with absolutely no bears in it. Not a single bear anywhere. Then, one day, more bears. What? Who said that? The author of the story looked around in the room, wondering where those voices had come from, where the voices of the children shouting. Then he went back to writing. As I was saying, this story had absolutely no bears at all. The author was very certain about this. More bears. The author tried very, very hard to ignore the children who thought that the story ought to have more bears. Fine, this story had a bear. It was a cute little baby bear, strolling through the book looking for more bears. Now, hold on a second. The author of the story knew exactly how many bears it should have, and the author insisted there should only be more bears. 2 bears. They're happy now. An adorable, cuddly, wuddly little baby bear named Mr. Fluffy. And his mama bear, Stella, who always wore a yellow hat. Now, it happened that Stella and Mr. Fluffy, like all bears, were especially fond of more bears. More bears, of course. The author was just thinking that. The author was thinking that just to keep everybody happy, this story should have a Papa Bear, whose name, by the way, was Captain Picklehead. And a bear named Uncle Sheldon, who was bald and loved to play the ukulele. Now, where were we? Oh, yes. It says more bears. Stop that. How many bears do you want in this story to have anyway? Do you really want to hear about Bobcat Sam, the bear who rode a pony, and Admiral Haversham, the English dancing bear, and Excellent Steve, the bear who just wanted to surf? You do? Wow. Why didn't you say so? In that case, the author suddenly decided that what this story really needed was. Guess what? He needed more bears. Yes, yes, yes. More bears. So the author added Astronaut Bear. Oh, Astro Bear, who, by the way, was Bulgarian and always kept a hamster in his pocket just in case. Then the author put in 3 more bears named Lester, Chester, and Esther, and Floyd. Wait, that's 4. Oh well, 4 is okay, because after all, this story really needed, guess what? More bears. It needed a bear named Lucky Eddie, who juggled carrots. And a bear named Elbow, who wasn't very smart and always wore his underpants on the outside of his regular pants. And a bear named 123, which even the author thought was a strange name for a bear. And since this probably wasn't enough, the author added even, guess what? More bears. The author added 6 bears on a tiny pink bicycle, 2 bears reading a comic books, and 1 bear flying across the page in a cape. And a lederhosen, 3 more bears swinging through trees on vines, a bear in a yellow submarine, several bears making cupcakes, and an entire team of firefighting bears running across the page with hoses, ladders, and party balloons. There were bears hanging from the top of the page, bears sleeping in the corners, and bears standing on top of other bears. There were so many bears in the story that they couldn't all fit on the page. It was crowded, too crowded, so crowded that some bears started pushing other bears off this page and arguing, which made the author grumpy. And when the authors get grumpy, they start rewriting and changing the story. In fact, this author was so grumpy he told the bears to leave, and they did. After all, this was the author's story. They walked off the page. They rode off the page, and they swung, surfed, danced, climbed, ran, and even somersaulted off the page. At last, the bears were gone, and the author smiled. Finally, the author had a story with no bears in it. A lovely story with not a single bear anywhere. Just but the way the author wanted it. Because, you see, the author was quite certain that this story should have absolutely more chickens. Okay, the end. Today, for our activity, we're going to be doing all about bears. So, what they eat, where they live, how to draw a bear, whatever you might like to do. I will show you mine, so don't make fun of my drawings. This is my bear. I found out that they eat carrots, they eat fish, they eat all types of berries, and they eat grass and roots. So if you would like to send me your pictures, and thank you guys. I'll see you later.